You'll lose them the moment you wake up. Not because you turned cold, but because you stopped pretending to be asleep. They liked you better when you played along, when your silence didn't make them uncomfortable, when your questions didn't threaten their beliefs, when your eyes were open, but your mouth stayed shut. The moment you began to see clearly, the moment you stopped nodding at nonsense, you became a problem. Because awake people can't be controlled. They can't be manipulated with fear, shame, or comfort. They don't crave the herd's approval. They crave the truth. And that truth, it's expensive. You'll lose friends. You'll lose lovers. You'll lose invitations to shallow rooms, where small talk is survival, and fake smiles are the only currency. They'll say, "You're not the same. You're too intense. You think too much." And they're right. You are intense, because sleepwalking through life was never your purpose. You do think too much, because thought is what cracks the illusions they built their identities on. They didn't mind you broken. They minded you rebuilding without their permission. They didn't mind your pain. They minded your power. They didn't mind your silence. They minded your clarity. And so you became distant, not because you ran, but because you no longer fit inside the noise. You don't belong in gossip. You don't belong in small circles with small minds. You don't belong where comfort costs your awareness. You belong in the quiet, in the sharpness, in the solitude that doesn't feel lonely anymore. Because it's honest. That's the cost of being awake in a sleeping world. You become harder to love. For people who only knew how to hold your illusions, you become harder to reach. For those who never cared to understand your depth. But you also become a mirror, the kind that terrifies. You reflect what they've buried. You expose what they avoid. You awaken what they pretend not to hear. And that's why they turn away. But don't go back to sleep for their comfort. Don't shrink so they feel safe. Don't wear masks just to be invited back into rooms you already outgrew. Your clarity isn't a flaw. It's a fire. Your silence isn't weakness. It's strategy. Your distance isn't arrogance. It's alignment. Let them talk. Let them stare. Let them label what they can't understand. Because the wolf doesn't explain. The wolf walks. The wolf watches. The wolf waits. And when the time comes, the wolf awakens others. Not by force, but by presence. So if you're feeling distant, if you're losing the ones who once claimed to love you, if your silence is being mistaken for ego, know this: you're not broken. You're becoming. You're not lost. You're being reborn. You're not cold. You're finally real. This is the cost of awakening. This is the life of the clear, the focused, the wolves. Like this if you've lost comfort for the sake of truth. Comment "I stayed awake" if you know this path. Share it with the one friend who sees through the noise. Read The Wolf: How to Awaken the Predator Within. This isn't inspiration. It's instruction for those who chose to see. Welcome back. You are the wolf.